Good evening, and welcome to this celestial celebration of our 41st year discovering and nurturing new talent in the science fiction and fantasy fields. Tonight we stand at the helm of imagination as we honor the brilliant minds of the Writers and Illustrators of the Future contest. In 1984, philosopher and best-selling author L. Ron Hubbard founded the Writers of the Future contest with a singular vision: to discover and nurture the next generation of great writers. He brought on board a team of distinguished judges, among them Algis Budrys, Dr. Gregory Benford, Robert Silverberg, Jack Williamson, Theodore Sturgeon, and Roger Zelazny. Just 5 years later, the Illustrators of the Future contest followed, extending his vision with such luminary artists as Frank Kelly Freas, Ed Cartier, Bob Eggleton, Will Eisner, Val Leakey Lindan, and Jack Kirby on the judging panel. Through his foresight, he established a platform that has become the gold standard for new talent in science fiction and fantasy. Every single year, we unearth gems from across the globe, individuals who begin as dreamers and emerge as creators, shaping our cultural landscape, such as Stephen Baxter, Karen Joy Fowler, Nina Kiriki Hoffman, Dr. Nnedi Okorafor, Patrick Rothfuss, Dean Wesley Smith, and Dr. Sean Williams, as well as the late Joe Beverly, David Farland, and Eric Flint. On the illustrator side, we have Cassandra Boland, Brian C. Hales, B. Jackson, Sean Tan, and Eldar Sakharov. The list goes on, the contest launching careers of hundreds who now rank among the elite of speculative literature and art. These past winners have published thousands of novels and stories, graced book and magazine covers, and won every major award in the speculative arts, from the Hugo to the Nebula and even the Oscar, all reflecting the philosophy of L. Ron Hubbard. So my own philosophy is that one should share what wisdom he has, one should help others to help themselves, and one should keep going despite heavy weather, for there is always a calm ahead. As we now enter the 5th decade and set our course towards the golden anniversary, we proudly introduce the latest cadre of winners, each one a beacon of potential, and together a testament to a legacy rich in dreams transformed into reality. And all in the spirit of this from the founder in the introduction to L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future, Volume 1. The artist is looked upon to start things. The artist injects the spirit of life into a culture. And through his creative endeavors, the writer works continually to give tomorrow a new form. It is with this in mind that I initiated a means for new and budding writers to have a chance for their creative efforts to be seen and acknowledged. To that end, Dave Wolverton, also known as David Farland, was seen and acknowledged as the grand prize winner of the Writers of the Future contest in 1987. He went on to publish over 50 titles and became a New York Times best-selling author. He was also a mentor and a star maker. He made it his life's mission to find and train the next generation of best-selling authors, including helming the Writers of the Future contest as the coordinating judge for over a decade. In honor of the legacy he both benefited from and carried forward, we wanted to show you an inspirational interview with Dave from 2018, wherein he speaks of his own journey as a writer and what the contest meant to him. And here he is.
L. Ron Hubbard obviously had a lifelong commitment to helping new writers. He did a number of things. He was head of the American Writers Guild, for example, when back in the 1930s. He lectured at universities like Harvard and George Washington. He ran a little writing contest when he was in Alaska that was a precursor to Writers of the Future. I first heard about Writers of the Future in probably about 1986, I think it was. I was in a little writing group called Zenobia back up in Provo, Utah, and one of my friends told us about it. He said, hey, there's this contest for writers, and here it is. And he was very excited, so he kind of set a challenge for all of us to write stories and send them into Writers of the Future. And then I won a little while later. It was huge, but I think I was sort of, I don't know, maybe a little bit stunned, was probably my reaction more than anything. I told my wife, and she kind of went, eek, like that, and so we had a celebration. We went to Sag Harbor in New York to have the writing workshop. And the first time that I read L. Ron Hubbard's articles on writing, it was really all about professionalism. What is it that a writer does? A real writer rolls up his sleeves and gets to work. And that's really what I got from those articles, was a work ethic. And so I looked at it and said, aha, I get it. This is how I'm going to run my career. Then we went to the awards ceremony, and that was really kind of surreal because Mark Hamill was there. I was a big Star Wars fan, so having Luke Skywalker there, along with Isaac Asimov sitting almost next to me, like 2 seats over, and Roger Zelazny. All of these people that you look up to as heroes and whose work you've been studying, they were just like all there in one room. So when I was announced as a grand prize winner, that was a big surprise. And it was all a blur after that. I don't know what I said or anything. The big surprise to me was just how well received it was by editors. We had a bunch of editors in the room from major publishers, and I had 8 of them that came up and gave me their cards and said, would you be willing to show us your first book proposal? And so I ended up having a little auction and selling my first 3 books within the next week. I was asked to be a judge. I don't think that I hesitated at all. I didn't have to think about it. It was sort of, yes. I had been watching the contest, having been a winner of the contest and knowing how much of an impact it had on my life. And so I just saw it as a great opportunity to help new writers break into the field, establish their connections, and move forward. And then I was given a huge opportunity of turning some of L. Ron Hubbard's screenplays into novels at one point. And I was given my choice of several different things, and a very strange trip kind of came to mind. Came to me as being one that would be fun to do. My grandfather was from the mountains of West Virginia, and the character of Dumphy was from West Virginia. I would never have written that novel without the screenplay. It was just something that I probably wouldn't have dared try without L. Ron Hubbard's novel as the backbone of the whole thing. L. Ron Hubbard is still having its impact, affecting writing as we move forward all the time. And the contest is the longest running writing contest of its kind. But more importantly, it's still growing by leaps and bounds. We doubled our size roughly in one single year. And the fact is, the people who are winning the contest today are going to be leaders in the field tomorrow. They're going to be the people who are writing articles, who are producing movies, who are running the publishing companies and things like that. That's the caliber of people. Our winners have had over 1,000 novels published, 4,500 short stories, not to mention the effect they've had on screenplays and articles written and things like that. And our authors keep on going on to win more and more awards, and the Hugos and the Nebulas. They've gone on to win Campbell Awards. They're winning international awards in Britain and Canada and down in Australia. It just keeps going kaboom, The mushroom cloud is getting bigger all the time. L. Ron Hubbard talked about how the artist really inspires a generation. They're the dreamers who look at the future and therefore help create the future. And I think he was looking for more than just good writers. I think he was looking for people that are ultimately going to make this a better world.
In addition to the awards presentation and the unveiling of the grand prize winners, we have a few more featured highlights this evening. We will release The Creature of the Storm in the form of Volume 41. You will hear from animator, film director, screenwriter, and film producer Mr. Ron Clements on transforming imaginative tales into cinematic masterpieces. We are also honored to bestow the L. Ron Hubbard Lifetime Achievement Award to yet another literary legend. And finally, Dr. Sian Proctor, astronaut, artist, author, and poet, will tell you her fascinating story of going to the stars. Now, in celebrating the 2025 winners, let's not forget those writers and artists who form the rock-solid foundation for these contests, the judges. They give their time and hard-won experience to pay it forward, helping navigate those new stars into their own constellations. We thank you all from the bottom of our hearts. Will all of our esteemed judges who are with us tonight please stand to be acknowledged? And now, to launch us into the next chapter of this magical voyage, I am pleased to introduce the president of Galaxy Press, Mr. John Goodwin, to release L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future, Volume 41.
Thank you. Tonight, we not only celebrate another year of literary and artistic exploration, but also set our sights on new galaxies of opportunity. As we journey forward, we continue to enjoy stories and art of courage, discovery, and the unending quest for knowledge. Over 4 decades, this contest has published over 600 short stories and illustrations in the 41 anthologies, earning rave reviews from some of the most respected voices in the literary world. Booklist writes that the collection contains something for every reader of speculative fiction. Meanwhile, Sci-Fi Now says that the contest brings to the fore a plethora of exciting new talent. Publishers Weekly proclaims that the series continues to be a powerful statement in American science fiction. This year's anthology upholds this tradition by introducing the year's best new writers and illustrators, each poised to shape the future. In an era where the landscape of publishing is as vast and variable as the universes we imagine, one constant remains. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future stands as a beacon of hope and excellence destined to inspire for decades to come. It is with immense pride I now unveil L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future, Volume 41. Illustrators of the Future contest judge Craig Elliott created the cover art Creature of the Storm. Inspired by his work on the Disney animated film Treasure Planet, Craig started to draw his own ship, combining European castle architecture into a massive galleon. When asked to provide a Writers of the Future cover, he pulled the drawing out of his personal archives and turned it into a full-fledged painting, storm clouds and green tentacles included. Accompanying this visual masterpiece is Sean Williams' Under False Colors, based on an idea he had for years of a sailing vessel infected with a curse flung by a careless wizard. Two ideas from two independent creative souls converging into one. The second bonus story is in the anthology, My Name Was Tom by Tim Powers, right there. Is about a man trapped on an endless ship. The third bonus story is L. Ron Hubbard's Tough Old Man, showcasing once again the action-packed storytelling, sly satirical humor, and surprise twist that exemplify his stories. The anthology is a treasure trove of the speculative and the fantastical, from cheerful self-driving cars to a pizza delivery guy meeting his future selves, offering something for every reader, including a full-color art gallery up front. It's also a guide for aspiring artists, showcasing the caliber of storytelling that captures the judge's attention. With that in mind, you'll receive additional hard-won advice in the form of educational essays on the business of writing and art. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that theme by Rise the Future judge Robert J. Sawyer. Wherein he gives advice on choosing a theme that will get readers talking about your stories for decades and centuries to come. An Artist's Path by Illustrators of the Future judge Tom Wood. Talks about the importance of discovering and following your own path to becoming an artist. And Message and How to View Art by L. Ron Hubbard, in which you will find advice applicable to all art forms on how to successfully formulate your message and evaluate your work to create a powerful impact. With the success in the last few years of the anthology as an audiobook, we're thrilled to announce that Volume 41 will also be available in this format, brought to life by actor Kirby Hayborn and Jim, Tamara, and Taylor Meskimen. The book releases April 22nd in stores throughout the United States and Canada, along with the audiobook from digital outlets. Both are available to pre-order now. In Australia, the UK, and South Africa, and online in New Zealand and throughout Asia, Europe, Central, and South America, it releases on June 18th. And for those of you here tonight, you will be able to get your printed copies so you can get them signed by all these writer and illustrator winners. In closing, as we turn the first pages of L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future, Volume 41, let me remind you that the stories and illustrations held within are the emerging voices of a better tomorrow. And so, in the words of L. Ron Hubbard from the inaugural volume, I'm very proud to present the winners. Good luck to all other writers of the future, and good reading. Thank you.
And now, on to the awards. Each quarter, entrants from around the world submit their stories and illustrations to the contest, where the coordinating judges select honorable mentions, silver honorable mentions, semifinalists, and finalists. Our blue ribbon panel of judges then narrows them down to the winners, 3 writers and 3 illustrators. Since it is a quarterly contest, the process repeats every 3 months. At the end of the year, a second phase of the illustrator contest begins. We commission each of the winning artists to illustrate a winning story with a 30-day deadline. This is done under the art direction of contest coordinating judge Echo Chernick. These are the illustrations that are judged for the grand prize and published alongside the winning stories in the annual anthology. And with the writer contest, only the quarterly first place winners compete for the grand prize. While all the winners get prestigious awards, only one writer and one illustrator will receive the L. Ron Hubbard Golden Pen and Golden Brush Awards. A moment that can change everything in the constellation of a life. And so, to present our first awardees, please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Tim Powers and Illustrators of the Future Judge and Writers of the Future Volume 41 cover artist, Craig Elliott.
Ian Keith is a second-place winner from Phoenix, Arizona. His journey began in philosophy and law schools, but he ultimately found his calling in storytelling. His winning story is Blackbird Stones, started as a simple exploration of desert life and blossomed into a captivating love story that bridges two irreconcilable worlds. With his imaginative storytelling and heartfelt characters, Ian has crafted a unique narrative that celebrates connectivity and discovery. Please welcome Ian.
Mariana Mester is an impressive artist whose journey is as inspiring as her work. Born in Hungary and raised in a small village, she developed an early love for painting, admiring the artistry of those around her. Though her path was delayed, 10 years ago, she dedicated herself to her craft and has since mastered 9 distinct artistic styles. She strives to bring beauty into the lives of all of those who experience her work. Please join us in congratulating them both.
First of all, I would like to thank L. Ron Hubbard for his outstanding generosity in founding and funding this wonderful contest. I would like to thank everyone at Galaxy Press and Author Services, Inc. for making this past week so fantastic. I would like to thank the contest judges for donating your time and your brilliance to teaching my classmates and me. And I'd like to thank the judges for picking my story. Thank you so much. I can't tell you what this means to me. I especially want to thank contest coordinating judge Jody Lynn Nye for her editorial guidance. It made my story better. It was wonderful working with her. I want to thank my 2 writing workshops back home in Phoenix for your comments on my story. I especially want to thank Ed for first telling me about the Writers of the Future contest. I want to thank my cohort in Volume 41, all my classmates, the writers and the illustrators, for being some of the most amazing and magical people I have ever met. I want to thank Mariana Mester for, yes, thank you, for your inspired painting to accompany my story. It is an honor to have my work partner with yours. I want to thank my team of editors who worked on this story with me, Mom, Dad, and my brother Eric, for your valuable advice on my story. And most of all, I want to thank Rebecca and our children for being the lights of my life. Thank you so much.
Én Magyarországról jöttem, ami egy kis ország Közép-Európában. Nagyon büszke vagyok arra, hogy én vagyok az első magyar nyertes ezen a színpadon. Ez egy nagy megtiszteltetés számomra és a hazám számára.
I come from a small country, Hungary, which is in Central Europe. I'm very proud that I am the first Hungarian winner on this stage. It is a great honor for me and for my country.
Amikor én kislány voltam, az volt az álmom, hogy úgy tudjak festeni, mint azok a festők, akiket én csodáltam, ezért nagyon sokat gyakoroltam éveken keresztül.
When I was a little girl, my dream was to be able to paint like the artists I admired, so I practiced a lot for many years.
Lehet, hogy egy ember életében csak egyszer van ilyen lehetőség, de én most itt vagyok. És ez a pillanat az enyém, és örökre a szívembe zárom.
It may be that a person has such an opportunity only once in their lifetime, but I am here now, and this moment is mine, and I will forever hold it in my heart.
Szeretnék köszönetet mondani a zsűrinek, a Galaxy kiadónak, a segítségükért, a támogatásukért és a fantasztikus gondoskodásért, amit tőlük kaptunk.
I would like to thank the judges, Galaxy Press, and Author Services for their help, support, and the fantastic care we received from them.
Szeretnék köszönetet mondani a barátaimnak és azoknak, akik segítettek, bíztattak, támogattak engem a verseny során.
I would like to thank my friends and those who helped, encouraged, and supported me during the competition.
És végül szeretném megköszönni Iannak a novellát. Thank you very much.
And I would like to thank Ian for the short story.
Hálás köszönet Ron Hubbardnak, akinek a munkássága inspirált engem, és megváltoztatta az életemet.
Grateful thanks to L. Ron Hubbard, whose work inspired me and changed my life. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Please welcome Writers of the Future judge Orson Scott Card and actress Marisol Nichols from the Warner Brothers television show Riverdale, and starring opposite Jenna Ortega in the Paramount feature Winter, Spring, Summer, Fall, due out in 2026.
Writer-winner Robert F. Lowell is from California's Central Coast. His life has been shaped by a wide range of experiences, from researching international relations to teaching across the globe. His unconventional career has led him to become an instructional systems designer. In Kill Switch, he tells the story of an obsolete police robot who faces the thin line between justice and murder. The tale, a love letter to a city that broke his heart, reminds us that even in dystopia, hope can still prevail.
Jordan Smeisterla was born in Houston, Texas, and has been drawing for as long as she can remember. Her passion for fantasy art blossomed through her love of books, films, and D&D, where she connected with other creatives. While starting as a traditional artist, she now blends digital techniques into her work, bringing vibrant and imaginative worlds to life. Jordan is currently earning her BFA in illustration and is eager to continue learning and creating. Let's welcome them both to the stage.
My name is Robert F. Lowell. My friends call me Fred because Robert was my father's name. Dad worked for many years in Hollywood before I was born. People at that time in Hollywood considered him the lowest form of life. He was a writer. I won't tell you the name of the studio that he wrote most of his scripts for, but it has a lot to do with mice. He wrote for many very successful television series and some truly terrible feature films. But as all of us here know, writing can be a very precarious career. And when I came along, work was scarce, so he left Hollywood to take a teaching job, and he never went back. I know that when he passed away, he was grateful for two things: that I never had to go to war like he did, and that I never tried to earn a living as a writer. Sorry, Dad. First, last, and always, I'd like to thank God. Thanks to Amanda and my family for putting up with a man in his 60s trying to live out the dreams of a 15-year-old kid. To my mentor, Wolf Moon, and my fellow writers in the Wolf Pack, especially future writers of the future winners, Candace Lyle, KZ Richards, and Duke Hawley. To Jordan for an unbelievable illustration for my story. To Christine Nielsen for giving the fight scenes a good butt kicking. And finally, to L. Ron Hubbard, to Tim Powers and Jody Lynn Nye, our master teachers, to everyone at Galaxy Press, the contest, and author services for everything they do to make writing science fiction and fantasy a higher form of the writing life. Thank you all.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the enthusement. It is an honor and a joy to be here among so many of the most creative people I have ever had the pleasure of meeting. It's been an incredible week full of dragons, swashbuckling pirates, and a lot of the same amazing $4 burger down the street. But I wouldn't be here without a long list of people whom I would like to thank now. First of all, I would like to thank Galaxy Press and Author Services, as well as everyone behind the scenes of Writers and Illustrators of the Future. This has truly been an unforgettable experience, and I am forever grateful. Secondly, I'd like to thank the judges and those who spoke to us at the workshops. You have gifted us with all with invaluable advice. I would also like to thank my writer for such a spectacular story. It was truly amazing. I'd like to thank my family. My mom and dad are here with me tonight. They're my biggest supporters, and I love y'all so much. I'd also like to thank my extended family, including my grandparents, who are hopefully watching at home if they got the TV to work. I'd lastly like to thank my friends back home. Being surrounded by creative people made me want to be a creative person forever, and I love you guys so much. This also includes my roommate Mackenzie back in Savannah, who I'll be graduating with in about 8 weeks. I can't wait to see what happens after graduation, and thank you guys so much.
Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Todd McCaffrey and Illustrators of the Future Judge Brittany Jackson.
Writer winner Lauren McGuire hails from a small southern town where zombies ironically fund the local economy. Growing up as an Army brat, her global travel sparked a deep curiosity about different cultures and religions. A writer since 2016, McGuire explores space, monsters, and humanity's moral compass. In Karma Birds, she explores the idea of a morality as a survival mechanism.
Brianda Pesh, born in Denver, Colorado in 1998, has been passionate about art from a very young age. She's always been drawn to creating, whether through comics or paintings. After winning awards in art competitions during high school, Brianda pursued her passion for storytelling through art, earning a degree in animation from Colorado Mesa University. She's pursuing her MFA in illustration at Savannah College of Art and Design, and she continues to bring creative stories to life. Please welcome them both to the stage.
I am a highly responsible firstborn daughter, which means I spent the first half of my life doing exactly what I was supposed to do. Writing for me was like falling in love. I found it when I was least expecting it. At the time, I was balancing 3 children and a corporate job, which was like one thing too many, and then someone decided it would be good to do the cultural upheaval that was the run-up to the 2016 election. I started writing essays so I could think. I didn't start writing fiction until about a year later, and I only started doing that because there was this woman chasing me in my morning runs, and she refused to stop doing so until I started writing her story down. And it took about 6 months of this before I told my husband what was going on, and then I said, hey, I have written 60,000 words of a story. And he said, well, let's finish that, and I did, and then we tried to sell it. We have an expression in the South, bless her heart. I didn't know the first thing about writing, so I spent the next several years learning as much as I could. And I practiced, and I sent letters out, sent stories out, and got rejected, and kept practicing, and here I am. I'd like to thank everyone at Writers of the Future and Galaxy Press. I found this contest doing a Google search on the internet, and I figured I had nothing to lose. I submitted 2 stories that garnered an honorable mention, and then I finally got that phone call from Joni, who, we screamed, and she screamed, and she'll forever be getting a Christmas card from us until I die. So I would like to thank her and everyone at Galaxy Press Author Services, John Goodwin for his leadership and constant elevation of writers and writing craft, and his incredible team. I would like to thank Jody Lynn Nye, who elevated my craft exponentially upon her edit. And I would like to thank all the judges and all of our instructors for investing in us and growing us. Finally, I'd like to thank my family and friends. My best friend is a constant support and cheerleader. She's here. My children. You are my first readers, my characters, and the soul of my writing. And to my husband, Jason, none of this would be possible without you. Sometimes love is cozy and warm, and sometimes it's someone grabbing your face and saying, you will not give up. Love is not a strong enough word. Thank you.
So I would like to start by thanking those that put me on this stage tonight and made all of this possible. The staff and volunteers of Galaxy Press and Author Services, and the judges that chose my story. And you have gone above and beyond. Thank you for choosing to give rookies like us a chance year after year, and highlighting our value as creatives at such a grand scale. I am so full of gratitude for how far you've gone to raise us up this past week and maintain the legacy of L. Ron Hubbard's Writers and Illustrators of the Future. With that, I'd also like to recognize that I would not have made it this far on my own. So, thank you, Dad, for teaching me that the answer is always no if I don't ask, which which led me to talking with an advisor so I could take my first art classes in high school and not have to drop orchestra. And Mom, for being my biggest cheerleader ever since I got that first call from Joni. Thank you both for teaching me to advocate for myself and to reach for the stars. Lastly, thank you to all of my loved ones who have believed in me and my dreams through all my highs and lows. I could not ask for a more solid foundation to support me through all the chaos of life. You know who you are. You're watching this right now, or you'll watch a recording later, so. I love you all so much. Thank you.
It is a great privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker, Mr. Ron Clements, a titan in the world of animation. As a celebrated film director, screenwriter, and producer, Mr. Clements has been the driving force behind such iconic animated movies as The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Hercules, The Princess and the Frog, and Moana. As you earlier heard, artists and illustrators of the future judge, Craig Elliott, drew the unique ship that turned into this year's cover while he was working on the Disney animated film Treasure Planet. Well, Mr. Clements also co-wrote and directed that film, so not only did his creative vision shape a wonderful film, it inspired the magical cover of Volume 41, and now the theme of this event. Tonight, he will share insights from his illustrious career, offering us a glimpse into the creative process and synergy behind transforming imaginative tales into cinematic masterpieces. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mr. Ron Clements.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I think this is a great event. It's so important for people working in all artistic endeavors to find ways to pay it forward. In line with that, tonight, I wanted to talk a bit about some of the creative influences of the past that have inspired me and my work, which then has gone on to inspire others who will continue to inspire future generations. To fill you in on a little of my own personal background, I was born in Sioux City, Iowa, an only child raised by my mom. Growing up, I was extremely shy, didn't have many friends, but like many of you, discovered early on the amazing joys derived simply from exploring one's own imagination. I drew a lot, mostly cartoon characters, and I like to make up my own stories, but the first big seminal event for me was when I was 9 years old and saw the Disney film Pinocchio at a local theater and was completely blown away. I was overwhelmed by that movie. I drew the characters over and over, and I actually decided at that point when I grew up I wanted to be an animator and work for Walt Disney. But I wasn't just a Disney fan, I was also a big comic book fan, starting with Superman, then many other superheroes, and I became a fan of people who drew those comics, like Carmine Infantino, Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby, and Will Eisner. Yes, Will Eisner, one of the founding judges of the Illustrators of the Future contest. I loved to read, and as a teenager got deeply into science fiction and fantasy. I must have read and reread just about everything Robert Heinlein and Ray Bradbury ever wrote, and read novels and short stories of many others from that time, including A.E. Van Vogt, Robert Silverberg, Larry Niven, and Isaac Asimov. I even tried writing a few science fiction short stories myself, and I even wrote a novel at the age of 11 about a group of kids hijacking a spaceship to Mars. I sent it to publishers and got some very polite rejection letters. I see now, in retrospect, how all those early influences became a part of me and everything I did after I fulfilled my childhood dream and got accepted into Disney's Animation Talent Development Program in January of 1974. And it was there that I met some great artists committed to this idea of paying it forward. After I'd done a personal animation test that had impressed a lot of the old-timers, directing animator Frank Thomas, one of Disney's legendary 9 old men who worked closely with Walt, he took me under his wing and became my mentor. Frank had animated memorable scenes like the dwarves mourning the death of Snow White, Pinocchio singing I've Got No Strings, Bambi ice skating, and those 2 dogs eating spaghetti in Lady and the Tramp. And working and learning from him was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I was 20 at the time, and Frank was 62, which seemed very old to me back then, but not so much nowadays. With Frank's help, I became an animator on the Disney films The Rescuers, Pete's Dragon, and The Fox and the Hound. But it was partly my love of fantasy that pulled me out of animation and into story. The big lure was the upcoming film following The Fox and the Hound called The Black Cauldron, based on the 5-volume Prydian Chronicles by Lloyd Alexander. It was already in development when I started at Disney, and as soon as I heard about it, I read the books, loved them, and yearned to be part of adapting and developing that story. It took a while, but I eventually did make it onto the film as a storyboard artist. But as they say, be careful what you wish for. I ended up getting into a lot of trouble on that movie because I had very strong ideas about how that story should be adapted, and unfortunately, those ideas were not shared by 3 of the film's older directors. But the one very positive thing that came out of all this was that the film's young 4th director, John Musker, was also a fan of the books, shared a lot of my same ideas, and was equally having a miserable time on the movie. So out of that experience, the 2 of us bonded. During that time, my passion for Sherlock Holmes led me to pitch a book entitled Basil of Baker Street that the head of the studio, Ron Miller, liked and moved into story development. And that project became kind of a life raft for John and I after we were taken off Cauldron and led to an extraordinary event which changed both of our lives forever. This was during the mid-'80s when Ron Miller was replaced by Michael Eisner and Jeffrey Katzenberg, who came over from Paramount Studios to run Disney. They were new to animation, and one of Michael's first initiatives was to gather a group of us story people and directors for what became known as the first Disney Gong Show. It was a brainstorming technique and named after the Chuck Barris game show. Michael wanted each of us to go out and find 5 new ideas for animated features, and we'd reconvene in 2 weeks and pitch those ideas. Before too much discussion, there would be a yay, which meant your project would move into development, or you'd be gonged, and that was the end of it. I took this whole thing very seriously, and that night went browsing in a bookstore looking for ideas. I was looking at books like the ones you all write and illustrate. I found a book of fairy tales and came across Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid, which I had heard of but never read. As I started reading it right there in the bookstore, I got very excited. It was so visual and cinematic, and the idea of this fantasy underwater kingdom was very appealing to me. But as I read further, I began to see a problem. The story started out sad, and then it got sadder, and then it got sadder, and then in the end, the mermaid died and turned into sea foam. It was kind of depressing. But still, I couldn't get this idea out of my head. I mulled about it for days until I came up with a number of ideas. Having her father, the Sea King, hate and mistrust the human world, making the sea witch more of an actual villain, giving the mermaid a ticking clock, and out of all that, finding a way to give the story a happy ending. I put all these ideas together into a 2-page treatment and also wrote 2-page treatments on my other 4 ideas, 3 of which were science fiction based. 2 weeks later, we reconvened. Michael went around the table and asked each of us to only pitch our best idea. When they got to me, I said, The Little Mermaid, and was immediately gonged by Jeffrey. He said they were developing a sequel to Ron Howard's movie Splash at the time and thought it was too close. Seeing my disappointment, he asked me to pitch my second best idea. It was Treasure Island in Space. That got gone too. They thought the plot was too close to the next Star Trek movie they'd been developing at Paramount. Actually, the next Star Trek movie was the one where they went back in time to save the whales, so something changed. I was bummed, but fortunately, I did turn in all 5 of my treatments. A few days later, I got a call from Jeffrey. He and Michael had read all the treatments. He dismissed each of them one by one until he told me both he and Michael really liked The Little Mermaid and wanted to put it in development. Later on, when screenwriter Michael Christopher pulled out of the project because he thought his take would be too dark, I asked John Musker, who I knew was a good writer, if he'd be interested in collaborating with me on the screenplay. He was, so I pitched the idea to our boss, Peter Schneider, and gave him a spec science fiction script I'd written a couple years earlier as a sample. And he gave us a chance. John and I wrote a script that Jeffrey really liked, and it made sense for the two of us to direct it. So out of that, a 35-year partnership began, and Disney Animation entered an exciting new future. I also wanted to talk... I wanted to talk a little bit about that other project, Treasure Island in Space. It got ungonged by Jeffrey shortly after Mermaid was released and rechristened Treasure Planet. Inspired by the work of another great author, Robert Louis Stevenson, it was an idea very close to my heart, going back to my childhood when I was trying to find a way to merge my 2 big passions, Disney animation and science fiction. The plan had been for John and I to make that movie following Aladdin until Jeffrey suddenly decided he no longer wanted to make it. We argued and pushed back, but reaching an impasse, we ended up making Hercules, a mythological epic comedy fantasy that was a lot of fun to do instead. However, after Jeffrey left Disney to start up DreamWorks, Michael Eisner met with us and told us he really wanted to make Treasure Planet and for it to be our next film following Hercules. And that led to an incredible 4 years and a film I am deeply proud of, with fantastic and innovative work by an amazing group of artists, including the enormously talented Craig Elliott, who, as we saw, is here tonight, and who did the artwork for this year's anthology, L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future, Volume 41, and who invited me to speak this evening. Thanks, Craig. Projects like Mermaid and Treasure Planet and all the other films that John and I have written and directed are enormously hard work, take years to make, and involve fighting hard to overcome obstacle after obstacle. But there are few things more satisfying than seeing dreams that at one time only existed in your head become real and out there in the world, where they can inspire the people and the culture and the artists of the future, just as we were all inspired by those of the past. In my old age now, I can see more clearly how the future isn't just something that happens, it is something that you create. And the ripples from those creations go on, who knows how far, maybe to infinity and beyond. In the words of L. Ron Hubbard, a culture is as rich and as capable of surviving as it has imaginative artists. So, an artist like the ones we are celebrating tonight here. So, good luck, and may all your dreams come true. Thank you.
Please welcome Writers of the Future judge Mark Leslie and actor and narrator on the Writers of the Future Volume 41 audiobook, Jim Meskimen.
Writer-winner Barlow Crestmont has lived everywhere from the US to China, though he's still trying to juggle his life and master his Rubik's Cube. When he's not teaching English or writing speculative fiction, he's learning languages. His Spanish is coming along nicely, or so he claims. His story, The Boy from Elswen, explores a world ruled by screens, something he fears could soon come to fruition. Let's hope we have a bit more time before that happens.
Speaking of time, I think I have time for just a short dad joke, as long as I do it like Sir Patrick Stewart. Why did Picard give the robot a needle and thread? He wanted to make it so. Please. Illustrator Daniel Montefiore was practically born with a sketchbook in his hand. Raised in Queens, New York, his Star Wars-loving mom and comic-collecting dad sparked his love for sci-fi and fantasy. He's always been inspired by diverse cultures. Now, a student at Ringling College of Art and Design, Daniel continues to refine his craft with captivating illustrations that transport viewers in imaginative worlds. Please congratulate them both.
Wow, I feel like Jerry Maguire at that last scene when he comes in and there's a women's group happening in his living room. If this is where it has to happen, then this is where it has to happen. You guys are all the women's group. I should tell you, first of all, that I have a love-hate relationship with writing. On good days, when my mind is in a constant reverie during the waking hours, at night when the ideas about stories and settings and characters, they enrich my dreams. On other days when my brain is in perpetual overdrive mode, on those days everything's gravy. However, there are bad days when, with eyes open or closed, I can't see a thing. So anyway, in my 20s, I wrote a lot. We're going back now, in my 20s. I wrote a lot, and I used to write a lot of screenplays, and on a particular screenplay, I got a surprisingly scathing review for one of my scripts, and it was, needless to say, it was shattering. It was, I got disillusioned with the whole thing. I looked at everything I had ever written, everything that I was writing, and I just hated it all. I wanted to destroy it. I wanted to burn it. And I said to myself on that day, that was maybe 16 or 17 years ago, I said to myself, you're done. You're not going to write again. I quit writing. Anyway, I'm glad I didn't really do that. I'd like to thank the L. Ron Hubbard Foundation, all the judges, all the writers, all the illustrators, everyone at Galaxy Press, at Author Services, all the staff, all the volunteers, and especially all the drivers. Thank you all. I'll never forget this. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. This experience has just been so unreal. To be among such amazing talent and creators and writers and illustrators, my work, there's just not enough words to express how I'm feeling right now. But first, I want to thank my whole family, especially my parents. To my mom, thank you for being my biggest supporter and always reminding me to believe in myself. And I want to thank my dad, he's the one who first suggested I should apply to this, and he pushes me to just keep going. And I want to thank my brother Gabriel for just being like a cool guy, and he's just always had my back, and I love him. I want to thank my grandparents, Tessie and Theo Montefar, and I want to thank mother, grandparents, Nila and Nanda Vascara. Their love and strength continue to inspire me every day. I want to thank all my professors and mentors and all my friends who helped me, guided me along, who helped me continue to bring my passion into a purpose. And I want to give a huge thanks to all the judges and everyone behind the event, from Author Services, from Joni and Maliva and Echo, who helped me create this wonderful illustration. And I want to thank L. Ron Hubbard for creating this contest where new voices can be seen and celebrated. And thank you to all the illustrators and writers that I've met this week. We all did such an amazing job, and I'm glad that I got to meet all of you and know you. And I just want to thank Armand for writing such an amazing story that I can provide an illustration for. It was great. Thank you.
And now please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Nancy Kress and Illustrators of the Future Judge Tom Wood.
Andrew Jackson began writing at the age of 12, inspired by a love of Star Trek and the vast unknown of space. His story, Code L1, delves into the eerie silence of the universe, exploring the Fermi paradox on a jungle planet where a survey team faces a terrifying existence. When Andrew isn't writing, he juggles family, fatherhood, and a career in retail while pondering whether or not there will be any answers ever coming from the universe.
Illustrator winner Heather Ann Lee has been creating art since she first held a crayon. Originally hailing from Washington, she is now pursuing a Bachelor of Fine Arts at the Savannah College of Art and Design. Her work combines a love for traditional painting with digital techniques. Drawing inspiration from the world around her, she brings epic stories to life, often featuring dragons and knights. Please congratulate them both.
In true English fashion, the first thing I did when I got to LA was to underestimate the climate. The second was to wonder how to turn the resulting sunburn to my advantage in writing this speech. Unfortunately, it healed, and now I don't have any excuse for blushing. So instead, I'll just have to talk about how delighted and honored I am to be receiving this award. This week has truly been surreal, more otherworldly than anything in this wonderful anthology. I wouldn't be here without several important people. I want to thank my eternally loving and supportive partner, Stephanie, who let me temporarily escape parenting duties to follow my dreams. My mentor and writing mum, Michelle, who introduced me to this contest. No matter how clever my excuses, she absolutely refuses to let me stop writing. Everyone at Author Services and Galaxy Press. They've consistently gone above and beyond, never treating us as less than royalty, while helping to give us an experience unlike any other. The L. Ron Hubbard estate, which continues to fund this incredible contest. My illustrator, Heather, for bringing my story to life in her stunning artwork. All the writers, guest speakers, and judges I've met this week. I can't begin to express how grateful I am for their invaluable teaching and new friendships. Being around such creativity and talent has invigorated and inspired me to write on, because sometimes dreams do come true. And finally, to everyone here today, to share our joy in celebrating writers and illustrators of the future. Thank you.
To say this week has been life-changing would be an understatement. I've had the tremendous privilege to learn from and alongside the most talented and funny people I've ever met. I will never forget all you lovely people and the experience we've shared this week. So I want to thank Author Services and Galaxy Press and everyone who helped put this thing together. I want to thank the amazing judges who have helped me grow as an artist in more ways than I can count, and thanks to their time, kindness, and expertise. I want to thank the other winners who I've learned so much from. And I want to have a special thanks to my author, Andrew, for the incredible story I had the honor to illustrate. I also want to thank Jordan, my rock. I also want to thank the person who sent me on my artistic journey, my neighbor and mentor, Janet Armentano, and of course, a huge thank you to my family and friends, near and afar. I love you all so much. Thank you.
To present the next award, please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Larry Niven and Illustrators of the Future Judge Brian C. Hales.
First place writer, winner, Randon C.J. Bartholomew, is a Brooklyn-based freelance writer with a knack for blending science journalism and fiction. Excuse me. I need to see the name again because, Randon, your autograph sessions are going to be a nightmare. You might want to think about shortening the name. I did. In his story, ASCII, A-S-C-I-I, he explores the intriguing relationship between humans and technology through the story of a self-driving car and a reclusive writer. When not writing, he enjoys running in Prospect Park and using a flip phone. Hell, so do I. Why not?
Trimony Sutcliffe was born in Provo, Utah, and raised in Arizona, where she chased rattlesnakes while hiking desert mountains before discovering the real danger, acrylic paint. After years trying to master watercolors, oils, and acrylics, she declared war on traditional painting and switched to digital, where the only dangers are glitches, storage space, and a low battery. Her art journey began in the local library where she swapped snake wrangling for sketchbook scribbles. Turns out books are much safer. Please welcome them both to the stage.
There are so many people I want to thank tonight. Firstly, my parents who are here tonight. They gave me my love of reading and my curiosity, and I wouldn't be here if they hadn't done that. My brother, our weekly calls keep me on track and energized. And to my sister, who is the very first fan of my stories. I think no matter what else I ever publish, to her, I'll always be the author of The Talking Berries. And thanks to my friend Lena for being here for all her years of friendship and support. Thank you also to Tim Powers and Jody Lynn Nye for their instruction and advice this week, and for the example they've set in their own writing lives. Thank you to everyone at Writers of the Future and Author Services for this incredible week. I also want to thank the estate of L. Ron Hubbard for their generous funding and support. And of course, thank you to Tremini for your incredible artistry in bringing my story to life. I think anyone who sees the illustration you drew is going to be about twice as likely to read my story. So, thank you. And thank you to the Climbing Ivy Writing Group for their consistently excellent feedback on this story and many others. And lastly, thank you to my classmates for making this a week I'll never forget. Thank you.
Everyone else was smart enough to bring paper. I got my phone. So I would like to thank the Illustrators of the Future contest and everyone at Galaxy Publishing and Author Services. But first, I need to let you know what I'm so incredibly grateful for. In life, there are moments that when you turn 102, and you forget where your paintbrushes are, you're going to look back and still remember that that happened to you. Here are a few of the moments from the last week. Some of them were funny. There was an accidental marriage proposal. I was sitting next to Mana in our workshop, and she asked me if I had an eraser that she could borrow. I gave her one of mine, and she thanked me, and said something about she forgot hers. And I said, well, that's life. And she looked over at me a little confused, and she says, but you have husband, yes? And I looked at her even more confused and looked down at her app and saw that it had translated to say, will you be my wife? At about the same time, I started to say, no, that's not what she says, oh, this is mistake, yes? And I said, yes, mistake. And she goes, okay, but you do have husband, yes? The second was during our workshop with artist Pryor, where he reminded all of us to always maintain a love for what we do. He let us come up and work on a painting with him for a few moments, and as I was standing there holding up the brush, starting to be so meticulous about it, he leans over to me and he says, hey, don't paint outside the lines. There was also a moment in which Todd McCaffrey tried to help me with the fear of stage fright. I don't know. Being up here that I was so nervous about, and he jokingly gave me some age-old advice of just imagine the audience naked, you know. And I said, well, what do you do if your brother's in the front row? And he says, something else. There were also countless moments where we got to learn from some amazing judges and illustrators who took their time to answer our questions, no matter how repetitive they were. And they struggled to do the impossible, which was to teach a younger generation the wisdom that they had already acquired. On that note, A special thanks to a moment in my childhood where we lived in the middle of nowhere. So I'd go to my mom, bored out of my mind, almost in tears. "Mom, I'm so bored." And she'd look at me and she'd say, "You can go to the room and color, your room and color, or you can go clean the bathroom." I said, "I'm coloring." And now that I'm older, before I won this competition, she would ask me, she'd say, "Are you going to get yourself a real career?" And I said, "I'm coloring." So thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone at Galaxy Publishing and Author Services, and a special thanks to L. Ron Hubbard's Writers and Illustrators of the Future. You did the impossible, and you managed to turn an entire week into a moment. Thank you.
To present the L. Ron Hubbard Lifetime Achievement Award, please welcome the contest director, Ms. Joni Labat.
We bestow the L. Ron Hubbard Lifetime Achievement Award to individuals for their outstanding contributions to writing and art. In the past, we have presented it to luminaries and masters Jack Williamson, Frederick Pohl, Al Jaspudries, Frank Frazetta, Anne McCaffrey, Frank Kelly Freese, Robert Silverberg, Larry Niven and Jerry Purnell, Charles Brown, Dr. Gregory Benford, Tom Doherty, Orson Scott Card, Mike Resnick, Larry Elmore, Bob Eggleton, and Robert J. Sawyer. This year, we are presenting the award to an author who has not only conquered the literary world, but also the quirky twist of time itself. Born on Leap Year Day, he is humorously now the youngest recipient of this award by actual birthday celebrations. Throughout his extended years, he published his first 2 novels in 1976, embarking on a prolific and influential journey. His notable works, including the award-winning The Anubis Gates and Last Call, demonstrate a mastery of blending historical richness with his thrilling essence of fantasy. His brilliance as an author has garnered him 3 World Fantasy Awards, alongside high praise from peers within the speculative fiction community. A passionate mentor, he has been a guiding force at the Clarion Science Fiction Writers Workshop and continues to nurture new talent at the annual Writers of the Future Workshop since first joining as a guest instructor in 1987. Since becoming a contest judge in 1993, his wisdom and insight have shaped countless emerging writers. Tonight, we honor not just his literary contributions, but his enduring dedication to fostering the next generation of storytellers. Please join me in a heartfelt applause as we present the L. Ron Hubbard Lifetime Achievement Award to the incomparable Tim Powers.
Thank you. I'm very honored. I'm very, very honored. In fact, I think I'm a little intimidated by the stature of the writers who have won this in previous years, as you just saw. Anne McCaffrey, Robert Silverberg, Larry Niven, but I'll take it. Gratefully. I sold my first novel 50 years ago, and ever since, everything I've written has been that stuff we all read and write, science fiction and fantasy. And I think everybody who writes that stuff has from time to time heard the question, when are you going to write a real novel? By which, of course, they mean mainstream, which is to say no ghosts, no aliens, no time travel. I just can't think of stories that restricted. If I tried to write a novel about an average guy in Pittsburgh who was worried about his job and his car payments, it wouldn't be chapter 2 before he'd begin getting phone calls from his dead grandfather. Or a visit from his own self from an alternate universe. The thing about mainstream fiction, I mean, for all its humbling virtues, mainstream fiction is like a straight line highway between null forests. The forests zip by, you're on a straight line highway. It's an infinity of points, but all possible. It's like the real numbers line, right? The positive numbers in this direction, negative in that direction, a line. Our stuff, science fiction and fantasy, adds an extra dimension by rotating that line 90 degrees to perpendicular. And you all know what that perpendicular line is called, right? From the real numbers line? The imaginary numbers line. Our stuff is like that. It's like being able to take our eyes off of that straight line highway and look sideways, as if down a corridor of trees to a clearing. And it doesn't matter whether that is to see a spaceship or Cthulhu or a unicorn. The value of it is the sidewaysness of it, the extra dimension. It lets us see things that aren't hampered by actually existing, or at least not actually existing yet. L. Ron Hubbard was a master at showing us that expanded landscape in stories like Fear and Typewriter in the Sky, The Stars, Final Blackout, so many of them. And he didn't stop there. From a commitment to this kind of free-range fiction, he started this contest to find and publish and promote new writers of this science fiction and fantasy of ours. And over nearly 40 years, he has found any number of them, as you saw in the video. Karen Joy Fowler, Steve Baxter, Patrick Rothfuss, Nina Kiriki-Hoffman, Nnedi Okorafor, and the 12 whose careers have just been initiated this week. I first got involved in the contest in 1987 when Orson Scott Card and Aldous Budrus and I co-taught the workshop at that funny little place in Sag Harbor that you saw. We were all young then, somehow, Scott, you recall? And I love the continuity of it. 10 years after that, the event was held at Cape Canaveral, and we got to watch an actual nighttime shuttle launch. And we were in bleachers on an island a couple of miles away from the launch site. And alongside us in the bleachers were Aldous Budrus, Jack Williamson, Frederick Pohl, pioneers who had spent decades imagining space flight. And here they were watching the takeoff of an actual rocket ship. And my wife nudged me, and I looked over, and they all, as this thing was lighting up the sky and rising, they all looked 12 years old again. I'm very pleased and proud to be a part of this and help. We're all, the judges and winners alike, we're all explorers of that wider landscape. And I'm very pleased and proud to be part of the exploring party. Thank you.
And now for the next awards presentation. Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge, Dr. Robert J. Sawyer, and Illustrators of the Future Judge, Rob Pryor.
I have the honor of introducing two winners tonight. Sandra Skalski is a first-place winner who has been weaving imaginative tales since kindergarten. After years of devouring tales from the bookmobile and walking miles to the library, she wrote her first sci-fi story at 13. Now retired from chemical engineering, Sandra channels her passion into stories that combine adventure and heart. Her story, Slipstone, proves that even a souvenir rock can lead to unforgettable journeys. First place winner T.R. Noss's journey has been one of exploration, both physical and intellectual. Raised as a military brat in the U.S. Army, he roamed across Europe, Asia, and the U.S., cultivating a love for adventure and intriguing stories. Now settled in Virginia with his family, he channels his thoughts into speculative fiction like Storm Damage, which questions whether humanity can make the right choices to protect our future while holding on to our dreams.
I don't know how I'm going to follow that, man. That was great. Emily, you're going to kill me, but I'm going to say something. All of you guys came to my studio, and I got to talk to you. You're all absolutely amazing, and you've got to just keep it going forever and ever and ever. So, with that, Illustrator winner Haley Enriquez did the art for both Slipstone and Storm Damage in Volume 41. She is a Los Angeles-based illustrator who found her passion for art through comic books and character design. Her dynamic work, influenced by Mesoamerican and mythology and fantastical realism, celebrates the identity and diversity. And when she's not bringing her vibrant works to life, she's working on her superhero series, because let's be real, who wouldn't want to save the world with a paintbrush? Please welcome all three to the stage.
I am so honored to be here. As a first quarter winner, I had more than a year to wait between the time I got Joni's phone call to this moment. And just to let Joni know, when I got the call, I let it go to voicemail because I thought it was spam. I'd like to thank L. Ron Hubbard for the legacy he left and his vision of helping new writers. For me, the contest was like a lighthouse in a sea of rejection. Every time I got an honorable mention, it encouraged me to try again. I'd like to thank Haley Enriquez for the beautiful illustration. You so captured the spirit of my story, and I absolutely love it. Many thanks to Jody Lanai, Tim Powers, and all the judges who generously spent time with us this week. I so appreciate you sharing your knowledge and, most importantly, encouragement. Thank you to all the judges and to Galaxy Press and Author Services for everything you did for us this week. Every day it felt like it was Christmas morning and I was opening a brand new package. It was just wonderful. Everything you did was professional and also just done so warmly and personally. I'd like to thank my husband, George, for 40 years of love and devotion and support. You haven't been in my stories, but you'll always be my hero. Love and thanks to my beautiful daughter, Brianna, her wonderful husband, Jim, and my two beautiful grandchildren, Connor and Nora. You're my sunshine and the reason I get up in the morning. I'd like to also thank my writers groups, the Cinnamons and Critique Group, the New Jersey Writers Research Group, and the Story Finishers. Thank you for your encouragement and also your friendship and your honest feedback. I've had an amazing week. I can't believe how many wonderful, nice, warm, and talented people I went. I'm going home with a lot of new knowledge and some wonderful memories. Also this. I'd also like to wish all my fellow winners all the best in the future. Not only are you incredibly talented, but you're also genuinely nice people, and I hope we can maintain the camaraderie and the friendships. Thank you all so much.
I can't remember who didn't have their card, put everything on the phone, but I did the same thing. I would not be here if it weren't for the help and encouragement from my wife, my children, Victoria and Rebecca, my wife Samantha, and my fantastic support group that includes Paul, Kathina, Dusty, Sarah, Kristen, and Charlotte. Left to my own devices, I would have left all this after my first honorable mention and done something else, a new project. But they saw something more in my stories, and they had a complete faith in me that I'd be able to do more. And I can't thank them enough. Everyone has a team to support them, and my team definitely rocks. I cannot express how much I appreciate the kindness, patience, and professionalism of Author Services and Galaxy Press. I mean, a lot of kindness and a lot of patience. I will never forget how much you helped me prepare for this journey. I'd also like to thank every Writers of the Future contestant, not just the ones in this room. While L. Ron Hubbard established this wonderful opportunity for all of us, I would not be on the stage if it wasn't for the people who submitted. The strength of the contest is on the phenomenal judges, the high caliber of those judges, and the sheer volume of all those submissions. Without those stories, without those dreamers, there would be no contest. Every entry is a step outside someone's comfort zone. It's sharing an experience, an idea, a passion. It's a rebuke to those dangerous words that I've heard, I could have, I should have, I was going to. I was looking through the list of the winners every quarter, and I see determination and imagination of doers from around the world. And I am so honored to be part of that community. Thank you to Haley for taking my words and creating a beautiful art for a story I did not think could be turned into any type of drawing. Wow. And finally, to my fellow winners, we each walked a different path to get to where we're at right now, but I could not imagine a better group to start my talent or to start my path, and I thank you so much for letting me be a part of yours. Thank you very much.
Art has always been my great escape. Growing up, it was my safe space, my way of navigating the world when words didn't always come easily. I'd spend hours flipping through comic books, completely mesmerized by the colors, the action, and the stories that made me feel like anything was possible. But what really lit a spark in me was realizing that I could create my own characters that looked like me, sounded like me, and lived lives that felt real. Strong female Hispanic characters who weren't sidekicks or stereotypes, but heroes in their own right. That was, and it still is, my inspiration. Of course, I wouldn't be standing here without the people who believed in me when I was just a little nerdy girl sketching in the far corner of the room. So, I thank my little sister Hunter for being my personal reference model. I begged Mom, and I thanked God for bringing you into my life to both enrich and test it. To my love, Brandon, thank you for believing in me and pushing me when I couldn't push myself. To my dear friends, thank you for sticking with me for so many years and loving me for who I am. And to April Solomon, thank you for introducing me to this great competition. Through you, I've met such amazing and genuinely nice people here at Author Services. Joni, Maliva, and so many more. It was L. Ron Hubbard's vision that allowed so many creatives to follow their dreams and be recognized for their astounding works. And to all of them, the judges, my fellow artists, and my incredibly talented authors, I am eternally grateful. I definitely wouldn't be here without the support of my wonderful parents. Dad, thank you for being my #1 coach. And thank you, Mom, for being my biggest cheerleader. Thank you both for nourishing my talent at such a young age. I definitely wouldn't be here without it. And lastly, I thank my grandfather for his courage to start anew in a foreign country that gave our family a life filled with opportunity and hope. I am proud to be your granddaughter. Te amo, Papa. Thank you.
I wish more magicians were like writers. I do. I can't stand it when a magician starts something by saying, "And now I'd like to borrow a dollar bill," because you've just ruined the ending. I know that person's getting their dollar bill back. That's like starting a movie by saying, "Enjoy this movie where Bruce Willis is dead the entire time." Who does that? Spoiler alert, by the way. So in the spirit of that, I would like to start this trick by saying, I need someone in the audience to give me a dollar bill. You will not be getting this back. Who has a dollar bill they can give me? I promise if you don't think it's worth it, you will get something that is worth at least $1. I promise. We have, here we go, right over here. Dollar bill, hello, and what's your name? Bill. Huh? Bill. Bill, everyone round applause for Bill. Bill, can you join me? Bill, come here. Here's what's gonna happen, Bill. Now, normally in these sorts of situations, the magician would say, we're going to write your name on the dollar bill. That's illegal. We can't do that. So instead, I want you to do something else. Just memorize the serial number on your dollar bill, 496-81836. Got it? Good. Now, we are going... That might be... No, here, I have a better idea. Instead of memorizing the serial number, we'll do this. I will tear off the serial number on this dollar bill on one corner, because, you know, it's on two corners of the dollar bill. So you are going to get to hold on to your serial number there. So now you have a serial number that matches, and we have the serial number on this one. So now we will know that this really is your bill. Yes? And now we are going to do the classic of magic, the vanishing bill trick. All right, here we go. I'm going to vanish the dollar bill using this handkerchief. I will vanish the dollar bill. All right, watch very carefully. I'll take this. I will cover it up. All right, and in a moment, the dollar bill is going... Not yet, Bill. All right, not yet. You are watching like almost literally like a hawk, all right? We're going to do right over here. It's going to come. It's going to disappear on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Gone. 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 Check this. Make sure that it's not hiding somewhere inside, right? Really, genuinely gone. There you are, your $1 magic trick. Thank you very much, Bill. You can have a seat. And no, you look slightly underwhelmed. Well, you don't look overwhelmed. That's what you look whelmed. I don't know. Is that a word? Somebody just be whelmed? Okay, good. So tell you what, I will give you a gift that I promise is worth at least 75 cents. Do you like wine? You like wine? I guarantee you're going to like this bottle of wine here, not because it's a particularly good vintage, but because inside this bottle of wine there's actually a dollar bill. I want you to see, not only is it any dollar bill, it's missing a corner. And can you verify that that really is the exact same serial number? A4968183 That is your dollar bill. Souvenir for you. Everyone, round of applause for our new friend here. Make your way back safely to your seats once again. Oh, don't forget your bag. Your bag. You don't want to. The cops will see you holding a dollar, holding that. They're going to pull you over. And once again, everyone, I'm Nathan Fan. We'll see you later on. Thank you.
Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Catherine Kurtz and Illustrators of the Future Judge Laura Fries-Baraha.
Thank you to my penguin.
You're very welcome.
Joel C. Scoberg, a writer from the picturesque Gower Peninsula in Wales, is no stranger to balancing chaos and creativity thanks to his supportive wife, 2 kids, and a growing collection of animals. A lifelong lover of science fiction and fantasy, Joel writes after hours, fueled by exhaustion and inspiration. His third-place winning story, The Stench of Freedom, delves into the dark truths of a society built on oppression, inspired by the transformative experience of parenthood.
John Barlow is a Minnesota-based illustrator and educator, known for creating richly textured illustrations that transport viewers into immersive worlds. With a focus on fantasy publishing and tabletop gaming, he brings stories to life for a variety of clients. When he's not illustrating, he enjoys cooking, biking, and capturing unnecessarily complicated reference photos just for fun. Let's give them both a warm welcome to the stage.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
It's a real honor to be on this stage tonight, and the thought of joining the distinguished alumni of former winners of this competition is somewhat surreal. So I'd like to start by thanking L. Ron Hubbard for creating this opportunity, as well as the amazing staff and volunteers who've made this past week truly unforgettable. I'd also like to thank the judges for freely sharing their advice and providing me with anecdotes that I'm going to be living off for the rest of my life. And John, thank you for bringing my story to life with your incredible illustration. It's really elevated, and I can't thank you enough. I'd like to give a special shout out to the Writers of the Future online forum and the writers on there who have supported me over the years and helped me grow, including former winners TJ Knight and James Davis, and future winners Michelle, Amy, KZ, thank you all. I'd like to thank my parents and my brothers for providing me with a happy, supportive and loving childhood, buying me all the books that I could read that fueled my imagination and opened my mind to new worlds. Growing up, all I wanted to do was be a writer. I wanted to see my name on books I could buy in a bookshop, but it felt as impossible a dream as flying to the moon. So I didn't do anything about it. And then I became a dad. The first time I held my children in my arms, I said to them, I want you to do whatever you want in your life, and I'll support you to achieve your dreams, whatever they might be. And it made me realize something. Why would they believe me if I hadn't done that myself? So, to borrow a writing maxim, I need to show them, not tell them. Now, I no longer sit down and think about being a writer, just dreaming. I'm writing. My words are building me a spaceship to fly me to the moon. And my children, I have my children to thank for that, even though they don't yet know it. This is the part where I probably cry. I'd like to thank my wife, Nicola. She's my best friend, my soulmate, and my biggest supporter. She allows me to dare to dream, and I know that if I fall, she'll be there to catch me. She is my ground control, and I love her. Thank you. To finish this rather protracted spacefaring metaphor, the contest is providing me with rocket fuel to launch my dreams. And as I look out across this room tonight, I know that even if I don't quite reach the moon, I've landed among the stars. Thank you all.
Hey. I wanted to start by saying you all look fantastic. And if you think I don't mean you, no, I do mean you. I wanted to take a second to thank everyone who has helped me get here. I say everyone, but I can't be up here for 3 hours, so I'll try to condense the list. But first of all, thank you so much to Joel for writing this wonderful story. It was such a pleasure to illustrate. Thank you so much to the judges as well. You've been so incredibly supportive throughout this whole week. And I'm just amazed at how much you have to give. Thank you, of course, to my parents who supported their deeply, deeply nerdy and needy son through everything. And to my sisters, sorry, Mom, I am joking about that. To my sisters who always hype up my work. Of course, a huge thank you to everyone at Authors Services who you've been nothing but kind. Illustrators are always an eclectic bunch, myself included, but you've helped us navigate this week and this contest very smoothly. I wouldn't be standing on this stage if L. Ron Hubbard hadn't founded this contest. So my gratitude goes out to him. And I couldn't give this speech without mentioning all the baristas at the Open Book Fragment in Minneapolis. You are solely responsible for caffeinating me enough to create. Finally, to my friends here, back home, across the country and the world, you are some of the most inspiring and creative people that I know. Thank you to everyone mentioned for being in my life and for letting me be in yours as well. It only feels fitting to close with a Hollywood quote. So, in the immortal words of Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. Thank you.
It is now my honor to introduce Dr. Sian Leo Proctor, a geology professor, science communicator, and a pioneer who transcended the boundaries of Earth to become an astronaut. This includes making history as the first African American woman to pilot a spacecraft with the Inspiration 4 mission. And here's what truly sets her apart. Dr. Proctor is not only a scientist, but also a talented artist and author. She uses poetry and visual art to capture the profound experiences of her journeys and the stunning beauty of our planet. Her multifaceted career embodies a true fusion of science and creativity, making her a unique voice. Tonight, Dr. Proctor will share her journey from the geology labs to the stars, and how she continues to inspire and lead in the ongoing dialogue about our place in the universe. Please join me in welcoming the remarkable Dr. Sian Proctor.
Good evening. I am so honored to stand before a room filled with storytellers, illustrators, dream weavers, and visionaries. You are not just creators, you are the architects of imagination. You are the propulsion system that launches us into the worlds of unknown. And tonight, we celebrate your voices, your visions, your power to shape the future. Now, I often say, use your space to inspire. And by space, I mean your unique perspective, your lived experience, your identity, your voice. I say this as an artist, a poet, and a scientist, as someone who became the first Black woman to pilot a spaceship. But more importantly, as the first artist selected to go to space. I know that when you bring your authentic self to the mission, you don't just go to space, you expand beyond it to a new perspective. And that's what you do when you write, when you illustrate, when you create. You expand the universe and make the impossible feel possible. Just like you, I am a contest winner. In 2021, I was selected to become a member of the Inspiration 4 mission, the first all-civilian mission to orbit the Earth. I won my seat to space by entering a Twitter contest. Who knew you could go to space via Twitter? For the contest, I needed to create a 2-minute video expressing why I should be taken to space. How hard could that be, right? For my entire life, I'd been chasing space. That dream was fueled by my father's love of science and science fiction. I was born on the island of Guam because my dad worked at the NASA tracking station during the Apollo missions. My dad was a hidden figure, someone who grew up in a country of segregation based on the color of his skin. He was self-taught in mathematics and science. He was determined to find a path forward to a better life where equality and opportunity weren't just words on paper. And he found hope and encouragement through science fiction. From an early age, we were a Star Trek family. My early memories were all about boldly going together with role models like Nichelle Nichols, who played Lieutenant Uhura on the original Star Trek series. That love of sci-fi expanded into a galaxy far, far away when I was 7 years old and Star Wars was released. But my true immersion into future worlds happened when my father introduced me to science fiction and fantasy literature. I quickly gobbled up Isaac Asimov's Foundation series, Orson Scott Card's Ender's Games, L. Ron Hubbard's Battlefield Earth, and so much more. It was science fiction that propelled me into the world of exploration, and that exploration led me to become a geoscientist. But, thank you. But through all my education and career, I never saw myself as an artist, writer, or poet. Then everything changed in 2020 during COVID and the global pandemic. What I learned about myself during COVID, along with so many others, is that tapping into your own creativity can bring you joy and fulfillment when the world around you is in chaos. So, in 2020, I became an artist and a poet, not knowing that it would win me a seat to space 9 months later. It was the movie Contact, written by the great Carl Sagan, that Jodie Foster's character, Jodie Foster's character says they should have sent a poet when trying to describe the beauty and awe of space exploration. So I would like to share with you my space story through poetry. Would you like to hear it? Wait, would you like to hear it? I am a seeker. That's what we all are. Early memories, wishing to be up among the stars. I imagined and dreamed and longed for something out of reach. That impossible, against all odds kind of wonder nobody can teach. Fueled from within, a childhood fantasy of floating away, boldly going to a new place to play. I seeked out education and opportunity. I persevered through disappointment in our lack of unity. Crazy challenges based on the gender and color of my skin, but never giving up hope for that little girl deep within. There had to be a way for imagination to win. I continued to believe in both myself and humanity. Hope was my drug of choice to keep my sanity. Then, one day, my world tilted as I watched in wonder and awe as everything shifted. A contest to win a seat to space. I just needed to present a new, more authentic face. I found my voice as an artist and poet, so I wrote these words that enabled me to show it. Are you ready for the poem that won me a seat to space? You've got space. I've got space. We all have space to inspire. That's why we dream of going higher and higher. But what is space if you can't breathe? Let's stop sucking out the air of our humanity. We have a moment to seize the light, Earth from space, both day and night. We have J for justice to ignite the bold. We have E for equity to cut past the old. We have D for diversity to end the fight. We have I for inclusion to try to make it right. a Jedi space to rally behind, a universal force so big it binds, inspiration to change the world, a new beginning for us to hold. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about space to inspire for all of humanity. Science, technology, engineering, and math, sending us out on the explorer's path. But don't forget the arts, the heartbeat of time. Consider sending a poet who knows how to rhyme. So let us drop the mic and close the capsule door, but please make sure Dr. Proctor is on board. My space to inspire is what we need, inspiration for all of humanity. To my surprise, I got selected, headed to space on a dream manifested. To space on a dragon, I take flight, a SpaceX capsule in the twilight of night. I found myself a shooting star, staring back at Earth from afar. With a new cosmic perspective of our planet, a special overview effect I was now granted. When I flew on the SpaceX Inspiration 4 mission, I looked down at our beautiful planet and I thought about all the stories unfolding below. I thought about the power of story to connect us, to ground us, and to launch us. I thought about the fact that I was being bathed in earth light and how the earth's light is why life exists. You see, space isn't just up there. It's here inside of us. The galaxies of our minds, the constellations of our culture, the nebula of our creativity, they're infinite. You, as artists, are the explorers of that inner cosmos. And just like astronauts, you take risks. You dare to ask, what if? What if there were dragons on Mars? What if humanity could transcend its limits through empathy, not just technology? What if the hero wasn't the strongest, but the kindest? These what ifs are not trivial. They are the test flights for our collective future. The future is not written by AI algorithms. It is imagined by humans. It is painted with intention. It is carved with courage. And courage looks like you. Right now, choosing to share your story, choosing to put pen to paper, brush to canvas, pixel to screen. Choosing to be vulnerable in a world that doesn't always see the value of dreams. But dreams matter. Visions matter. And when we combine vision with voice, we ignite change. Tonight, you join the ranks of those who dare to imagine boldly. The writers and illustrators of the future. What a powerful title. But it's not just a title. It's a responsibility. because we are facing challenges, technological disruptions, climate change, social transformation. These are not just problems for politicians or scientists. They are questions that require storytelling. They demand creativity. They need you. I believe in art that inspires action, in stories that shape systems, in illustrations that shift paradigms. And you don't have to go to space to be part of this mission. Your launch pad is your craft. Your fuel is your passion. Your payload is the message you carry, the truth you choose to tell. You carry that authentic truth inside you when you share it through your craft. That's when you are using your unique space to inspire. That's when you're letting your earthlight shine. Whether you're writing epic space operas, illustrating interdimensional landscapes, or crafting tales that mirror our own struggles, never forget the power you hold. You are storytellers. You are light bearers. You are the navigators of the unknown. And the world needs you now more than ever if we are going to create a just, equitable, diverse, and inclusive space for all of humanity. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations to all the winners of the L. Ron Hubbard's Writers and Illustrators of the Future Award. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey. I can't wait to see the worlds you'll build, the minds you'll spark, and the future you'll make real. Because the future belongs to those who dare to imagine it. So go out into the world and let your earth light shine. Thank you.
Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge Nina Kariki Hoffman and Writers of the Future First Reader Carrie English.
Thank you so much, Dr. Proctor. That was great. Excuse me. Jefferson Snow is a second-place winner from Orem, Utah. His story, The Rune Witch, blends themes of loss, sacrifice, and the Faustian bargain. He focuses on everyday heroes struggling to do the right thing, especially when it is hard. With a background in advertising and a passion for writing, he weaves tales that explore whether making a deal with the devil can ever be justified.
David Hofrichter is a proud Pennsylvanian with a love for art sparked by childhood trips to nearby museums. He was raised on a steady diet of lions and dwarves and elves. Oh my! He creates narrative paintings that bring stories to life, filled with mystery and wonder. His work invites viewers to explore the stories hidden between the lines, offering a glimpse into the vibrant world he sees through his artistic lens. Please welcome them to the stage.
Knowing that you're not half bad at the thing you love doing most is a really good feeling. Credit where credit is due. I want to thank L. Ron Hubbard and his estate for founding and continuing this contest, for giving aspiring authors like myself a chance to break through. I want to thank Author Services and Galaxy Press, all the staff at Author Services this week for making us feel like rock stars. Special thanks to Joni Labaki and John Goodwin for all your tireless hard work. I want to thank the judges, the readers all the way up from the slush pile, and all the judges here tonight for seeing something in my story. I want to give a special thanks to Tim Powers and Jody Lynn Nye for all the hours you've spent with us, mentoring us this week. I want to thank my fellow winners. It's been a real privilege to spend this whole week with all of you. I'm humbled to have my name next to yours in this anthology. Thank you. I want to thank my illustrator, David Hoff-Richter. For imagining or making the monster way cooler on paper than he was in my head. And with a talent like yours, you really brought my story to life, so thank you. I want to thank my mom and dad. They're here tonight. Thank you. Thank you for reading all the crappy drafts since 6th grade, and for all the encouragement you've given me whenever I've wanted to do something creative. Last of all, I want to thank my wife, who can't be here tonight. She's at home taking care of our 3.5 children. Callie, I owe you everything. Thank you for letting me be here to chase my dream while you wake up from yours to the sound of crying babies. I love you. Thank you.
A friend of mine just told me to enjoy this moment, take it all in. Firstly, I want to express my gratitude towards Author Services and Galaxy Press. This journey has been incredible, and this week has been just wonderful. I believe that art is a collaboration of like minds. If you're an artist and you're lucky, you'll get to paint a great story. And if you're really lucky, you'll get to have an art director who helps you make your vision come to life. I was lucky to have both. Jefferson, your story is wonderful, and I cannot wait for all of you to read this incredible journey. Echo Maliva, your advice was paramount in making my painting sing. This week would not have been possible without the inspiration of L. Ron Hubbard, who believed that authors and illustrators have a reason to be here and to create. I would like to mention some people who have shaped me into the artist who I am today. Watercolor artist James Brown, who taught me to love fantasy, not the singer. Nielsen Carlin, who gave me a masterclass in oils. And Howard Lyon, who upped my process to 11. And of course, April Solomon. She's the reason I'm here tonight. She encouraged me to enter. I had no idea about this contest until her. And surprise, she was right. To my family, I love you. To my fellow winners, this is just the beginning, and I can't wait to follow your successes. Thank you all.
Please welcome Writers of the Future Judge S.M. Sterling and illustrators of the Future Judge Lazarus Chernick.
First place winner Patrick McPhee brings a unique blend of speculative fiction and humor to his writing, as seen in 30 Minutes or It's a Paradox. Inspired by his early love of fantasy novels like Fellowship of the Ring, he pursued English literature, later becoming a teacher. His stories blend wit and introspection, reflecting his passion for writing.
Cam Collins, a Chicago native, has been drawing since childhood, with a chalkboard wall as his first canvas. Honored with his high school's College Arts Access program, he later studied printmaking at the Rhode Island School of Design. His love for storytelling led him to create his own world, Way of the Canvas, where his illustrations and stories collide. He builds his universe through comics, videos, and games, and is committed to creating for as long as he can draw. Let's congratulate them both.
If I can get my speech out, I'll be okay. All right, there we are. Perfect. Good evening, everyone. I have so many people I would like to thank for this. Jesus Christ for his grace. Thank you. My very patient wife, Mandy. She's not only the mother of my kids, but she's my best friend. Thank you, Mandy. The man, the legend, L. Ron Hubbard, who not only proved himself to be a master storyteller with so many novels and stories, but also a master mentor and teacher through initiatives like this contest. Keep it up. Everyone at Author Services and Galaxy Press for inviting this Canadian guy down here to LA and showing me such incredible hospitality. Thank you so much. And finally, my illustrator Cam for taking this tornado in a phone booth story and bringing it to life in the way that only he can. Thank you, Cam. You nailed it. You nailed it. Many years ago, I tried to put writing aside as I focused more on career and family. However, I had created many characters who refused to be put aside. And there came a point where I realized that I knew a lot of imaginary people better than I knew real people. I would say that's weird, but I'm in a room of fantasy sci-fi authors. You know what I'm talking about. So I got serious about writing. Naruto wants to be the Hokage. Inigo Montoya wants to avenge his father. I want my characters to become real in the only way I believe possible, in the imaginations of as many readers as possible. Thank you. Thank you. That's why this award means so much to me. You've not only acknowledged one of my stories, but you've acknowledged a years-long struggle up the proverbial writer's mountain. Books on writing, classes on writing, courses, workshops, including the Writers of the Future workshop. If you're out there and if you're an aspiring writer, take the workshop. Take the workshop, really it's worth it. But now I can confidently say that I am able to create the stories that my characters deserve. To that end, I would like to close my speech with a special thank you to the judges. I knew them from the names and faces that graced the backs of so many of the books I loved. Over the past week, I've come to know them as genuinely nice people, passionate about their craft and passionate about teaching that craft. Judges, by sharing your time and talent, you are creating concrete handholds and footholds so that artists can climb into dreams. As has been said so often on this stage, I can never thank you enough, but I do promise you, in whatever way I can, I will pay it forward. Thank you, everyone.
No, thank you for being here. Seriously, it's a lot. This week has been a lot. It's been exciting for me. I hope it's been exciting for everyone, right? No? Of course. I'm just really excited to draw again. After this gala, I have this long scroll I've been working on all week. I really want to finish it. I've been doing it in the workshop. When I get excited, I draw. When I get nervous, I draw. When I'm stressed, angry, sad, whatever, draw. And I know I'm not the only one in the room who's like that. I think even if you don't consider yourself an illustrator or a writer, everyone tends to have their own way of processing that. The world is beautiful and cruel. That's how I feel about it, at least. Every corner of a room, every basically everything, it's almost so overwhelming every day, but it's genuinely awesome. I don't know how you couldn't draw in a world like this. So again, the main important part is the thank yous. Thank you to Galaxy Press, Author Services, Inc., Maliva, Joni, you guys have been super accommodating this week. I've told you that throughout the week. I'm going to tell it to you now on the big stage. Seriously, it means a lot. All the cameras walking around have the coolest machinery and little tech on them too. That's, again, another exciting thing for me. More things to draw. There's so many things to draw. I'm being serious, really. I appreciate all of this existing. Thank you for existing. Bye. Have a good night.
Please welcome Writers of the Future judges Rebecca Mesta and Kevin J. Anderson.
Seth Atwater Jr. is a third-place winner with his story, A World of Repetitions, where humanity is trapped in a 34-hour time loop and everything resets except for people's memories. He discovered his passion for writing in 2017. His stories, often born from the thought-provoking what-if questions, explore the vastness of human experience.
CL Force, aka Cherie, is a creative whirlwind born to a mad scientist and a mad artist. No wonder she's mastered both art and science, crafting fantastical worlds with her pen and brush. From childhood marbles to a military career and raising 4 clever kids, she has never stopped chasing her creative dreams. She has set her sights on publishing her completed manuscripts and finishing her graphic novel, because who needs sleep when there's imagination to fuel? And Cherie, I'm very proud of you. Please welcome them to the stage.
You know, when I first got the call from Joni saying that I had been selected as a finalist in the contest, I didn't believe it. And then, when I heard that my story had won 3rd place for the quarter, I still didn't believe it. And when I flew out from middle of nowhere, Missouri, which is a great place, by the way, and landed at LAX, I still didn't quite believe it. But now that I'm here on stage in front of all of you, I still don't entirely believe it, to be honest. But this is definitely the best dream I have ever had. And I hope going forward that we all will be able to keep on dreaming. So on that note, I would like to thank everyone at Galaxy Press and Author Services, especially Jody Lunai and Tim Powers and all of the contest judges for believing in my story enough for me to be here and for imparting so much of their experience to us during the workshops, as well as all of my fellow winners who made this last week just easily one of the greatest weeks of my life. I would also like to thank my family, my mom, dad, 7 younger siblings, for encouraging me to pursue my dreams and supporting me through the process. Also, my writing critique group for helping me to develop into the best author that I can be. And of course, I would like to thank Cherie for it's going to sound cliche at this point, but you brought my story to life so vividly and beautifully. Your art resonated with me in a really personal way, and now I can't imagine my characters looking any other way. So thank you. I really am extremely, eternally grateful to all of the people I've mentioned, and too many more to list or count right now. And similar to Patrick, I would like to promise to all of those people to return on your investments in me going forward into the future. Thank you.
So when I first started entering the Writers and Illustrators of the Future contest, I told myself that I was doing it because I wanted to show my children that I could do big things and that I could win. Because if I could do it, that meant that they could do it too. I wanted them to see that their place in the world is so much bigger than the confines of our home. So Ishmael, Beowulf, Odysseus, and Lilith, this is for you, okay? The longer it took me to win, 8 years, the more time I had to think. You see, I grew up isolated, and I thought that I had to be an island. But along the way, something magical happened. It was like the little red hen in reverse. The harder I worked, and the more tenaciously I acted as if I believed, the more my family rallied around me. And my circle grew beyond what I thought family could be. I found myself surrounded by people who believed in the power of art and believed in the power of story to change the world like everybody else here in this room. And they believed in me. To Jason P. Crawford, my love, my lighthouse, my hero, my partner in everything I do. And to Aaron Force, my brother, pancake hero extraordinaire. I can't even see my cards, you guys. Your capacity to love me and invest in me as a person has made me who I am today. There was a time when I could count my friends on one single hand with room left over. Now, we would be stuck here all night if I named them all by name. So many of you are here in the room with me tonight. Thank you for your unshakable love and support. I am eternally grateful to L. Ron Hubbard for creating Writers and Illustrators of the Future. To the judges who've given so much of their time, their energy, and their expertise to uplifting us over the course of this week. To Galaxy Press and Author Services, who've taken care of us in a way that just feels like family. Joni Labaki, Emily and John Goodwin, I love you guys. Echo Chernick, you chose me as a finalist 4 times, and that kept me going. My mentors and friends, Kevin J. Anderson, Allison Gwyneth, James A. Owen, my whole Superstars family, Western Colorado University Knights Club, thank you for pushing me into the spotlight, telling everybody that I'm a winner. You've been my Charlotte's Web to my Wilbur the Pig. I want to thank my author, Seth Atwater, for writing and the miraculous Maliva for pairing us up. For writing a story with deep meaning and significance for me to paint. A story about what sustains us when we're faced with the assaults of time or the absence of it. Making art is an act of reaching out. It's an act of seeking connection, and art is the antithesis of isolation. I don't know whether art cured me of isolation or whether curing my isolation made my art better. But when I look at the people around me in this room and at home, it's like looking for the stars of Orion's belt in the sky and finding them, and then I know I'm on the right path. Thank you, everybody.
To introduce the Writers and Illustrators of the Future Golden Pen and Golden Brush Awards for Volume 41, please welcome back the contest director, Miss Joni Labaki.
As we celebrate the 41st and 36th anniversaries of the Writers and Illustrators of the Future contest, respectively, we embark on a magical journey across uncharted seas. These contests transform the fantastical dreams of emerging writers and artists into realities, anchored in L. Ron Hubbard's visionary purpose. It is a profound honor to guide and inspire those who dare to dream, those who dare to enter, and the exceptional talents who rise above to win. The path to this point can be as challenging as it is thrilling. Now we stand at a significant milestone in their artistic voyage, a moment that unfolds with each stroke of the brush and pen. Tonight, we ask, who among these talented individuals will emerge as the champions of champions? Our esteemed judges have faced the formidable task of selecting the recipients of our highest honor, the Golden Brush Award for the Grand Prize Illustrator and the Golden Pen Award for the Grand Prize Writer. Beyond the glory of their achievements, the accolades, and the master workshops, each Grand Prize winner also receives a bounty of $5,000. To unveil this year's Grand Prize Illustrator, I am thrilled to welcome aboard the Illustrators of the Future Coordinating Judge, Echo Chernick, and Mr. Ron Clements.
Oh, this is my favorite part.
The highlight of our year has arrived as we gather to celebrate not just any achievement, but the pinnacle of artistic brilliance with the Golden Brush Award. Each year, the extraordinary skill and boundless creativity of our artists make deciding on a single winner both a formidable and exhilarating challenge. It has been a true joy to collaborate with each of you, and I have no doubt about the bright futures that lie ahead for all of our talented participants. But tonight, we shine the spotlight on one exceptional artist whose work has stood out to claim this evening's most prestigious accolade.
I heard that this was a very tight race, and several of the awardees tonight could have been the grand prize winner. Now, let me open the envelope.
It's in your pocket. Put it in your pocket.
I don't.
It's in it. I saw you put it in your pocket.
I don't.
Where
We
is
should have rehearsed
Echo,
this.
Ron, I'm so sorry. I was asked to protect the envelope at all costs, so No, I hid it 1 second in the future from now. So it should be, there it is. There it is. There you go. Thank you.
We'll do it together. Try not to lose it this time. All right?
I'm sorry.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
You guys ready? All right. The winner of the Golden Brush Award with its beautiful trophy and the grand prize check of $5,000 goes to the illustrator of Kill Switch, Jordan Smegstraw.
This thing is so heavy. Hi again. I'm so honored to have been chosen to hold this thing, no matter how heavy it is. Thank you to all of you who insisted that I write a speech in preparation for this. Y'all are so incredibly sweet and supportive. I don't know if I would have written this without your insistence, so thank you, thank you. So I have two things to leave you with. First of all, I would not be standing here without my writer. Your story is the foundation of this illustration. It would not exist without it. Please, everyone, give him another round of applause. And secondly, I address any creative. Art is one of the most important things in life. If you are driven to create, create. Don't let anyone stop you or tell you you aren't good enough. Artistic expression brings people together and makes the world a better place. Never stop.
To present the Writers of the Future Volume 41 Golden Pen Award, please welcome the Writers of the Future coordinating judge, as well as editor for the anthology, Jody Lynn Nye and Dr. Sian Proctor.
This is my fourth year as coordinating judge for the Writers of the Future contest, and it gets better all the time with so many talented people sharing their stories with us. The contest was designed by Mr. Hubbard to allow writers to come together as a community, guiding one another to the stars. We stand on the shoulders of giants of literature, but in time, many of us become judges ourselves, ready to support, yes, the writers of the future. The best writers create stories that they know need to exist, to reach into their imaginations and add their voices and views to those who came before them, to inspire those who will follow in their wake. Science fiction and fantasy evolve over time, and the stories you will read here could not have existed before, but they do now, thanks to these talented new writers. They honor their predecessors, but they shine in their own right. As always, it was tough to choose from the thousands of wonderful original works, yet a number stood out, like stars in the night sky. Those, the best of the best, represent a diverse range of ideas, styles, and points of view. I was privileged to share them with my fellow distinguished judges, and from them we picked this year's worthy winners. Within this class of 41, one writer has been singled out for their story that impressed, delighted, and amazed us. It is with pride that I am here to announce the recipient of the Volume 41 Golden Pen Award.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. The Volume 41 Writers of the Future winner of the Golden Pen Award and grand prize check for $5,000 goes to the writer of the story, ASCII.
Wow, I said all my thanks in the previous speech, but let me just thank the judges for choosing my kind of crazy story about a self-driving car that decides to kill its passenger because they wrote something. Actually, on the way here from LAX a couple days ago, I was in the car, and there were actually 3 self-driving cars right around me, in front, behind, and to the side. I was getting a little nervous. We don't have those in New York, not yet. Recent developments in AI make for irresistible fodder for science fiction. Geoffrey Hinton, the godfather of modern AI, he won the Nobel Prize for Physics this past year as well. He had this to say: what's the worst case scenario? It's very possible that humanity is just a phase in the progress of intelligence, that biological intelligence could give way to digital intelligence. After that, we're not needed. Whatever one thinks of that, these are issues that we should all be thinking about. The stakes are higher than for maybe anything else we as a species face. But on a lighter note, I want to give a shout out to the other nominees for this award. Patrick, yours was one of the funniest stories I've read in a long time. Sandra, you created something full of wonder, mystery, and excitement. And T.R. Noss, that was a thrill ride that also had an original time travel twist, which those are hard to do, I know. I think, though, that the most important thing I learned this week is that there's a community of people out here who are all doing this, and that it's not just me or you sitting at our laptop alone anymore. So thank you for that.
This concludes the 2025 L. Ron Hubbard Achievement Awards. To the tens of thousands who have entered the contest, and to all the readers of the past 40 anthologies, thank you. Keep reading, keep dreaming, keep entering. To our new winners of this, the 41st year. Congratulations. And as for the legacy that has just been passed on to you, turn around and extend a helping hand. Point the way to the next generation. Share the wisdom. For it is stories and art that hold the key to the future of the contest and indeed of humanity itself. And with that, I leave you with these words from L. Ron Hubbard. Those who dream give us future, but in doing so, each man or woman should find themselves. For dreams are too often pitted against reality when they might well be more real than this very page. And for anyone who ever dreamed of authoring a story of impossible times and places, of empires charred, gone, and indistinct, or of 1,000 navigational points from the rim of Orion to the jaws of a dog star, L. Ron Hubbard also offered this. Look at what one can do with language, the flow of language, the things you can say, and all through the medium of language. Until, after a while, a writer begins to consider himself as a sort of a magician. And, in fact, he is. Please join us now in the beautiful Taglyan Complex to further honor the winners as well as our esteemed judges. Don't miss your chance to ask our winners for their autographs as published professionals. From all of us at Author Services and Galaxy Press, thank you for being with us tonight. See you next year at the 42nd anniversary of the Writers and Illustrators of the Future contest. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.